Do you have an agave plant in your garden that's looking quite lifeless, looking like it's had its life? Or do you just want to learn how to propagate an agave plant? If that is you, please keep watching and I will show you how. Good morning, good night, and anything in between. Welcome to my channel. So for this project, what you will need is trowels. You need a pair of gloves, a clean secateur, and a knife for cutting. And you also need some dry leaves, soil for repotting, some mulch, and also water. Okay, so I'm just gonna go show you closely what I'm talking about. So this is the agave plant that I'm referring to. So it's looking quite lifeless. It's still green. I mean, it looks sad, but it's not dead. So, and then you see there's a little bit of growth coming out, but that's okay. And yeah, and how it sits like this. So I'm really not happy that it's stooping like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut them and then try and stand them properly. So I'm just gonna put a cardboard with this. Okay, first put on your gloves. So the knife I can just put away for a little bit, and the trowels I will put with the soil. So what I'll do, I'll just tidy it up a little bit. So I'll get rid of some of the dead leaves already and put it with the other dead leaves that I've got prepared there. So because I'm just gonna cut this. So what I'll do, I'll just try and get it out of the pot. So this is gonna be quite hard because the root system's already there, so it's gonna be very, very hard. So I might just slide the knife through. So if you have a flexible tub, or if you've got a plastic tub, you can just squash the tub and you can easily remove it. But because I've got a terracotta pot where this plant is sitting, so I don't want to break the pot, because I can reuse this for something else later on. I'm just gonna loosen it on the side because I could imagine all the roots are on the pot already, because and since the terracotta is quite breathable, so it's very easy to get the root to cling onto it. Okay. Very good. I think we'll get there. So I'm almost there. So you can see all the roots just there. It's very root bound already. Let's see, just show you. It's very root bound. So I'll just go ahead. Take it up. So it doesn't matter if I break this because I will be cutting them off anyway. Okay, so that's that. So you can see there's actually no soil already in this. So it's very, very root bound already. Okay, so it will grow better. I'm just gonna get rid of this one, rub them on the old pot. I'm just gonna, so how, if you notice, I've got a smaller a smaller table, and I will just drape this around the edge so I don't injure the leaves even more. Then, so you've got the root here, and I do probably need about 5 centimeters of this plant on the above the ground, and then cut right there. Okay, so you just need a knife just to cut straight through it. So this is quite tough and heavy, and your aim is to try and get as straight cut as you can. If your knife is very sharp, please be very careful, okay? Okay, so I'm almost there. Oh, by the way, so this plant I've only picked it up from someone's front yard. So obviously on my way home I was driving and I saw this on the road, so I picked it up, and this is now a year ago that I did that, and yeah, now it's like this. So I made a clean cut just right here. So this is quite this is still quite fresh. So normally people would say to leave it dry or leave it out, like, you know, like air it for about 5 days, so this one will colors. But I'll do a cheat way. So what I will do, I will plant it straight to the ground, but I won't water the soil first before I put them in. So in that way they are under the soil but they are still considerably dry. So this one will just go straight into the compost. But before I do that, I will just tidy it up. So I'll just cut the dead leaves. These ones are gonna die anyway, and they're gonna dry off later on, so I might as well cut them now while I'm here. Okay, so the rest I think should be okay. So I'm just inspecting how this agave plant should stand. So it's fairly straight. So if you look here, I've planted straight to the ground right here, it will fairly come up straight. Okay, so I will put it on the ground about up to here, and then leave about that much space. Okay, so I've got this pot because I expect this plant to grow a little, like, you know, a lot bigger, and I probably won't repot it for a while. So I've opted for a bigger pot. I always go for terracotta because I just like the aesthetic of it, and it's quite breathable as well, especially with this plant because they don't want to be too wet all the time. So even if I water them, at least it will kind of dry with the atmosphere. So I will mix. I will mix some soil. So this is just a normal garden soil. So you don't have to buy a garden soil. You can just make one yourself. But because because I had this sitting in the garden for, like, you know, in the garage for a little bit, so I thought I'll use them. So I'll just put a little bit, and then I'll mix it with some dry leaves. Mix some dry leaves there. This will just air it a little bit and gives a little bit of organic matter inside the pot. You can also put some a slow release fertilizer, some compost as you're in this process. You can do that. But at the moment I don't have any compost ready, so I won't be putting in compost, but I am putting in some dry leaves, so it will also have some organic matter in it as well. So I'll just mix that, and then I'll put a little bit more soil. Okay, and then I'll put more. Just stir them. Oh, by the way, I got these dry leaves from the Mariah plant I have at the front. So, as you probably know, Mariah plants quite hardy, and they tolerate being cut heavily. So instead of putting them in the compost, I normally dry them out in a dead or in an empty space in my garden, and then use them as a mulch when it's dry for the other plant. Then lastly, so I'll probably just leave about 2 centimeters above the rim, because eventually it will flatten. So I had this soil sitting in the garden for a little bit, and I've noticed there's actually a lot of worm already in here, so that's quite good. Just mulching, and just stir it a little bit more. It's a nice day today. It's quite sunny. I think it's about 27 degrees here in Sydney. So it's a beautiful day to work in the garden, to enjoy the sun, because it's been raining lately. Then just do that. Although yes, my soil is a little bit damp, but that should be okay. Okay, so I'm almost there. I'll just pack it a little bit just to make sure that. Okay, and the last bit is grab your agave plant and just stick them right in the middle. So you try to hold them in between the leaves, so there's like an area where you can hold in here. So just try and hold them there as you press it down. And what I do is I will put it under the ground until the spot where you can have like the leaves is sitting right on the ground. So I'll just show you. Oh, it's very heavy. I don't know if I can carry this. Anyway, so it's just right there. So the leaves itself, the beginning of the leaf is sitting right on the ground, or right on the soil, level of the soil. Okay, so I think this will stand up on its own. So I leave it like that. Could probably press it a little bit, but it's now sitting right up. Okay, so like I said earlier, normally you will let it callus for about 5 days before you put them on the soil, but because I probably don't have that 5 days to go, to come back out in the garden, then I'll just do that, and then I will put some mulch just to finish it off. So I think I'll take off my gloves now. I'm finding it very difficult to work with gloves. And then I'll just show you this mulch that I use. So these ones are the skin of a tree. So every time I go for a walk, or I go to a nature reserve and I go for a walk or stuff. And if I see like a tree is like is changing the skin and they're just on the ground, accumulating on the ground, I usually pick up some of the skin when they're a little bit thick. And yeah, because it just looks really nice. Well, for me it looks really nice. They are free from nature, so I'd like to use them instead of buying a whole heap of mulch, and you probably don't use them depending on how big your garden is, because I normally just put them in pots, so I don't really need that great deal of this bag. So what I do, it's quite easy. You just break them into little pieces, so it's like a mulch, so it serves as a therapy for me as well. So if I'm like thinking, if I'm doing like, if I need to do something for work or just anything, I just try to break them. They're like paper instead of shredding paper. Then you just break them. They're quite crunchy. It's nice. Yeah, it's a nice sound to it. Looks really good, and you can cut them however size you like, or also depending on how big the pot is, because this is quite a medium-sized pot. I might need to cut them a little bit smaller, so it just fits perfectly there. So I'll just do that. So it really breaks really easily. It's quite nice. It's actually quite therapeutic if you ask me. And they're not sharp. If you're worried that you can get splinter from this, no, you don't. I have been breaking them for quite some time, and yeah, it doesn't give me splinter. Maybe it will if you're like trying to break them all at once, but if you you just do it like this, you should be okay. This one will also support the plant as well, so it's to make sure that it's standing upright. I just like the aesthetic of having this freshly cut DIY mulch. It just gives it a bit of character. And also using back what's waste from the nature. And then you can give it back to the environment, give it back to the soil, give it back to the plant. Make something out of it. So I think that's it. So I had to use 2 strips to cover this pot. So like I said, I won't water this until next Saturday, just to dry it a little bit, to make sure it's secured. And yeah, so that's what it looks like. So that's the end of the tutorial on how to propagate an agave plant. Yeah, so if you want something like a content like this, gardening, about life, about travel, please do like and subscribe to my channel. I will be uploading more videos about garden. I would normally do them on the weekends, because that's the time I have time to come out in the garden, being a full-time employee. So but anyway, please stay tuned or hit the notification button so you'll get informed when I upload more videos. But for now, it's me, truly one, truly yours. Hanggang sa muling pagtatagpo. Bye!